All right, we're going to go get started right now. We're going to talk about evaluating and solving exponential equations. It's really just plugging in a bunch of stuff, okay? So it's not that bad. You can use your calculators the whole time. I don't mind. All right, so it says evaluate an exponential equation for the function f of x equals 1200 times 1 plus 0.04 to the x. We're going to evaluate for f of 2. So we had the function f of x. What did x take the place of? Or what did 2 take the place of? Sorry, I just gave you the answer. What did 2 take the place of?
X.
X. So what that means is in the function 1200, 1 plus 0.04 to the x, we're going to put in that 2. That's it. So 1200, 1 plus 0.04 to the second. And then we get our calculator and we literally evaluate it. So type it in just like you see it, 1200, 1 plus 0.04 to the second. And we get 1297.92. Yeah, that's all. Okay, don't make it more complicated than what it is. It's really simple. What does B tell us to do? What does B tell us to do? If A told us to plug in 2, what does B tell us to do?
1.5.
Plug in 1.5. So we're going to do 1200 times 1 plus 0.04 to the 1.5. You can put that in your calculator. Find your answer, and you get 1272.72. Somebody else, what does C tell us to do?
Plug in 0.
So I'm going to do 1200 times 1 plus 0.04 to the 0. I'm going to plug in the 0, and I get 1200. Okay. If you look at the next one, it's pretty much the same exact thing. The only difference is it says g of x. That just means it's a new function. Okay, so don't play on your phone. G of x is a new function. So we're going to take our new function, 365 times 1.5 to the x, and we're going to plug that 1 in for x. So we are going to evaluate 365 times 1.5 to the 1. Type it in your calculator, and we get 547.5. What do I do on B? Somebody else that hasn't answered. The longer you wait, the less time you have for homework.
Put in -3.
And I said somebody else, but thank you. Thank you. Okay, plug in -3. So 365 times 1.5 to the -3. Do the same thing that you've been doing, plug it in, and you get 108.15. The last one, you're going to plug in 2.3. Somebody tell me what you get. Somebody on Zoom, tell me what you get when you plug that in.
927.47.
And it actually rounds to 4.8, but if you gave me 4.7, I would be fine with that, okay? So don't stress too much about your rounding. All right. We'll go to the next one. It's just a new function, is h of x. But what's the difference in a? Like a, b, and c, what's the difference? How does it look different from the last 6 problems that we did? Arlen, how does it look different than the last 6 problems that we've done?
Because it's equal to 0.
Thank you. This one's equal to 0 or equal to 6 or equal to 20, where we didn't have equals on the last part. So remember that h of x is a fancy way. It's actually function notation to write y equals. So all you do is set the h of x that they give you. So our equation that they gave us was 50 times 0.85 to the x. You just take it and set it equal to 0. On the second one, you set it equal to 6, and on the third one, equal to 20. Now, we don't know how to solve exponentials. That won't happen until math 3, but we can use our calculator. So anytime they ask you to solve these, you're going to be using your calculator. You need to pay attention to how you do this. You're going to go into y equals. And in y1, you're going to put the function. And in y2, you're going to put 0. Okay, we put 0 because it was on the other side. We're going to graph it. I should see 2 lines. I should see a blue line and a red line. I don't know if you picked up on it, but if you look in the corner right here, see that little tiny dot? This one starts at 50, so it's really far away. So I got to zoom out, okay? So if you don't see it, zoom out. Let's see what happens. Zoom out. There's my blue line. There's my red line. So once you can see them, you might have to zoom in, you might have to zoom out. You do second trace, intersect. Second trace, intersect. So second trace is up here at the top and intersect. I'm going to hit enter. I need to go to the blue line, hit enter, and then find out where it's at. So enter, enter, enter. And what do we see? What is this? Can we read today? Can we talk? Y'all, this is pointless if you don't help. It's pointless. It's not just you guys sitting in class, it's Zoomers too. I have 3 people answering questions and that's it. Can you read my screen? What happened?
It makes an error.
It makes an error. So let's see what happens one more time. If we look at this from over here. So I'm going to zoom in. You guys don't have to do anything. I'm zooming in to look at it. And I'm going to do my second trace intersect again. Let's see if it happens again. Why do you think it does this? What are we trying to find?
Here.
No. What are we doing? Second trace what? Intersect. So what do you think we're trying to find? Where they meet. We're not seeing that yet. Look in your table. Let's look in your table and see what we see. Here's 8, 2, 1. What do we need to get to? What do we want it to be equal to?
0.
0. We want them to be equal. Do you see anywhere that's happening? You guys see it? All right, so the problem is, again, I gotta be able to see that intersection. I don't see it yet. So I'm gonna try to find it. This one's a really crappy one. It's not too bad though. Let me see if I see it now. Second trace intersect. Still 0, right? Still don't know. I'm gonna zoom out one more time. I'm gonna try it again. Why is it doing this?
Going to
Does it intersect exactly at 0? Yes, no, maybe? Let me show you what happens when I actually solve it. Ignore the fact that I'm showing you how to solve equations, okay? So look here. We have 50 times 0.85 to the x equals 0. To solve this, we're going to divide by 50. You don't have to do this. This is math 3. I'm not expecting you to do it in your homework either. I just want to show you what happens. We have to use logs. Again, it's math 3. Don't freak out. Left, your leftmost number is 0.85. Your right is 0, and your middle is x. When I put this in my calculator, what happens?
another error.
Yeah, so it doesn't work. So the more you zoom out, if you keep getting that, you know it's not going to be a solution, okay? So it takes a long time to get there. So let's try the next one. Let's try 50 times 0.85 to the x equals 6. So instead of having 0, we're going to change it to 6. And let's see what happens. I'm going to go back to Zoom 6 so it's a normal screen. So I see my red line, but I don't see that blue line. Remember, it's up in that corner. It's crazy. So I'm going to zoom out so I can see it. Tell me if you can see where they cross. That's what we're looking for, where they cross. Can you see it? So we should have a solution. Second trace intersect, enter, enter, enter. And what did we get? What do we get? Well, my Zoomers can. So what do we get, Zoomers?
13.046 or just 04.
Or 05, either one is perfectly fine. That's it. That's it. Okay, so now it says evaluate and interpret the following. What does it mean? What does it mean? So it says the rule h of x is 50 times 0.85 to the x. It represents the amount of drug in milligrams, which remains in the bloodstream after x hours. So x is hours. X is hours. How long did it take to get to 6 milligrams? 13 hours. That's all it wants you to do. It takes 13 hours to get to 6 milligrams in your bloodstream. So what do you think the next one? What are we trying to get? How many milligrams? 20. So we're trying to find out how long it takes to get 20 milligrams. Do the same thing, except for instead of 6, what are we doing? 20. We're going to graph it. There's my blue line. There's my red line. Does it work?
Yeah.
Second trace intersect. Enter, enter, enter. What did we get for x? Zoomers, they can't see it. What do you get for x?
5.63, or would you round it? Or 64?
Either or is perfectly fine. I don't really stress about rounding, so you guys are fine either way. So 5.64 is the correct rounding. If you gave me 6.3, it'd be fine. I don't stress out. All right. So how would I set up the next one? The rule P of X equals 100 times 0.25 to the X represents the amount of drug in milligrams which remains in the bloodstream after X hours. It's the same thing, it's just a different medicine, okay? Evaluate and interpret the following. So how would I set up A?
$100 parentheses, or 100, yeah, 100 parentheses, 0.25 X equals 20.
Perfect, perfect. Put it in your calculator. We're gonna change this one up here, 100 times 0.25 to the X. And then we still have 20. We'll graph it and make sure that we can see the intersection. And then second trace intersect. And what do we get? How many hours? Somebody other than her, please. Zoomers, they can't see the screen in class.
1.2.
And you can say 1.2 or you can leave it 1.6. Again, that rounding stuff does not matter. So it takes about 1.16 hours to get down to 20 milligrams. Is everybody okay with these and how to solve them? We'll move on. All right, so the next part, verify solutions on the graph in the calculator. These will be on your EOC. These will be on your EOC, so you need to make sure that you know how to do them. All you're doing on these is checking the points. So you're going to see if this point is actually on the graph or not. So if we look at f of -2 equals 18, the way you write your coordinate, -2 took the place of x, so it's your x coordinate, and 18 is your y coordinate. We look on the graph at -2, then we go up to 18. Does it look like that point is on the line?
Yeah.
Yes, that's all we do. We write yes. What is the next coordinate I'm going to check?
1, 4,
Look at it.
0, 4.
0, 4. So I'm going to go to 0 and up 4. Is that point on the line?
No.
So we just put a no. The next coordinate that I'm going to check.
2, 0.222.
2 and 0.222. Do you think it's on the line?
Probably not.
Are you sure?
Yeah.
It's pretty close. I would say it is. 2 and up 0.2? I think so. All right, what about the next one? It just gives you the coordinates. Is -5, 2 on the line? -5, 2. Is that on the line?
No.
No. 1, 1.3. Is that on the line?
Yeah.
And then 4, 20. Is that on the line?
Yeah. No.
Look at it. That's all you're doing. Yes or no? Is it on the line? All right, so check out the next ones. These are super easy and they're absolutely accurate. So we kind of question this 0.22. We won't question these. Here's how you do these. Go into your y equals, clear everything out. Type it in. And then look at your tables. Everybody know how to get to your table? Second graph. And then I'm going to change mine. Table start at 0. Our first one was -160. Is that an actual point in my table?
Yeah.
Yes. Is -3 positive 150?
No.
No. That's all you do. Plug it in and see if it works. All right, your next graph. 4 parentheses 3 to the x. We're going to check our table. We're looking at 5 and 972. Is that a point on the graph?
Yes.
Yes. 2 and 28.
No.
No. That's it. All right. For the point 327, using y equals x to the k, what is the value of k? So all you're doing is remembering that this is an xy coordinate. And we're going to plug into the formula. What's your y coordinate?
27,
What's your x coordinate?
3,
We're looking for k. 3 to the what gives you 27. Watch right here. You can plug it in, 3 to the x instead of k. Look at your table and find 27. What is k going to be?
3,
That's it, y'all. That's it. Okay, the next one, I have y equals 2 to the k. What's your y value?
8,
8. So y equals 2 to the x. What gives you 8?
3,
That's it. All calculator. 100% calculator today. Okay. Again, it's asking you how to solve an equation or inequality using a calculator or table. I want to see if I can go in Desmos and do this. To show you, I really haven't done Desmos a lot. So let's look at the first one. Do you guys know how to make a power in Desmos? Yes, no, maybe? To make a power in Desmos, you shift 6. It's that little caret key like you do on your calculator. Okay, shift 6. So 5 to the 3 minus 2x. And then in the second one, nope, that should be up in the power, sorry. Minus 2, stop. I don't know how to make it stay up there. I do too. Parenthesis 3 minus 2x. I told you I haven't done a lot with Desmos. I'm just trying to help you out because it's easier to do it this way. And then the second one, 5 to the negative x. They throw a point down there and it tells you exactly where they cross. Everybody see that? So Desmos will help you out. So solve it. What does x equal? X equals 3. That's all you do. 3 and 0.008. It's okay. All right, so check the next one. Take this off, take this off. The next one is 3 times 2 to the x. And then on the other side, it's 6x minus 7. What do you notice?
they never touch.
If they never touch, what is that? No. What are we looking for?
Perpendicular.
No, stop talking for 5 seconds. What are we looking for when we do our calculator stuff? Where they what? If they don't touch, what's their solution? No solution. That's what I'm looking for. Okay. So no touch, no solution. So on number 2, it's no solution. I know I'm writing it down and you can't see it, but you will in just a minute. I'll flip it back. Okay. Look at your next one. You have negative x plus 5. And then in the second one, you have 2 to the 1/2. To the x. So type it in like you see it. And then what do you see here? They touch twice. The first one is at negative 1.756. And the second one is at 4.935. That's all you got to do, guys. So just type it in. The last one's easier to type in. We have 2x plus 3. And then we have 2 to the x. They cross twice. once at 3.247. And once at negative 1.296. So here are the answers that we had. All right. And then you have a couple of word problems, and the word problems are not hard. Suppose that two types of bacteria which coexist grow at different rates. The function f of x equals 2 times 5 to the x models the amount of the first type. The other function is the second type. It says which function models the total amount of bacteria. So how do we get total? How do you get a total? How do you get a total?
Do you add?
Thank you. Yes, this is not hard questions. Yes, ma'am. Thank you. So you're going to do f of x plus s of x. There's absolutely nothing you can do after you use the functions, okay? So what was f of x? It was 2 times 5 to the x. We're going to add the other function s of x, which was 3x plus 2. There's nothing else you can do. It doesn't ask you to solve it or evaluate it. It just wants you to set it up. On the last one, it says, what happens when the two are the same amount? What does it mean for them to be a same amount?
They're equal.
They're equal. So we're using equal marks. That means the first one is equal to the second one. All I wanted you to do was set it up. That's it. Any questions on those? So total is add, same amount is equal. All right, so check these out. These are on the final exam. That's why we're on here. Find k when f of x equals 50 times 0.85 to the x, if f of 2 equals k times f of 1. All it's doing is telling you to plug in and solve. Okay, so be smart about this. I'm going to rewrite it so you can see it. F of 2 equals k times f of 1. What does f of 2 mean that we do?
Plug in 2.
Plug in 2. So 50 times 0.85 to the second equals k times, what does f of 1 mean?
Plug in 1.
Plug in 1, so we're going to put the 1 in there. 50 times 0.85 to the 1. Evaluate them. You just literally put them in your calculator. You can also do this part on Desmos as well. Just make this an X instead of a K. Okay, it'll work the same way. So 50 times 0.85 to the second is 36.125. 50 times 0.85 to the 1 is 42.5, and we're going to multiply that by K. How do I solve for just K? How do I solve for K? Guys, this is first week of school. How do I solve for K?
Put on her the thing that's not with the put on the top.
Okay, so how do I get that 42.5 out of the way? Thank you. I really appreciate you answering. I really do. Thank you. 36.125 divided by 42.5 gives us, what's my calculator say?
0.85.
So K is 0.85. So that's what you're doing the whole time. Okay. If I go to Desmos, the next one says f of x is 15 times 2 to the x if f of 3 equals k times f of 6. So f of 3 means we're plugging in 3, right? So 15 parenthesis 2 to the 3. Then it says K, so I'm going to put X times F of 6, 15 times 2 to the 6. Let me make this Y equals. I don't see the other one. All right, I don't like doing it this way. Ignore that. Let's just go back to how we were doing it. Sorry, y'all. 15 times 2 to the 3 equals K times 15 times 2 to the 6th. Plug it in. 15 times 2 to the 3 is 120.
We can't see your screen.
Yeah, I clicked it, but I didn't click share. I'm sorry. 15 times 2 to the 6th is 960K. And then same as the last one, we're going to divide by 960. So 120 divided by 960 is 0.125. Same thing on the next one, it's just add. So both of these are the same. I'm going to go to number 4, and if I have time, I'll go back to number 3. Okay. Sorry, try to get that one back up there. So this one says F of 2, plug in 2 equals K plus, this one says plug in 1, 50 times 5 to the 1. Evaluate them just like before. 50 times 5 to the 2nd is 1250 equals K plus 50 times 5 to the 1 is 250. And how would I solve for K?
Take it away from the
Subtract 250. Perfect. And K equals 1,000. The other one's just a little bit different because it has a fraction, but it's exactly the same. So you evaluate it exactly the same. Plug in -3. So 2 times 1/3 to the -3 equals K plus F to the -6. 2 times 1/3 to the -6. Type it in your calculator. 2 times 1/3 to the -3 is 54. K plus 2 times 1/3 to the -6 gives us 1458. How do I solve?
Subtract 1458.
Thank you. So 54 minus 1458 gives us -1404. And that's it. So that's all you have to do to evaluate those. All right, we're going to look at your homework real quick. Guys, you have to do work on your homework. It's not multiple choice or anything like that. It is literally plug it in. It is the same thing. So these are not multiple choice. They're not multiple choice. Does everybody understand that? Don't just circle some letters and hope that you get the answer because I'm going to look at it. So this is just like the first part where you're plugging 1 in for X. You'll plug in 1.5 in for X, and then you'll plug 100 in for X. Okay. This one, you'll plug in 3 for X in this one. Then you'll set it equal to 192, use Desmos, it'll be fine. And this one, set it equal to 48. So these are like the last 6 that we did on the front page. Okay. Then we're going to do this and look at our table. So check out your table to see if these points are in there. That's all you do, yes or no. Same thing on this. See if these points are on this graph. And then let's look at this one really quick. Find the values of Y for each X. So if X is 2, what does it look like Y is going to be? Because we didn't have any of these. 2 what? Right there's my point.
1.
Is it exactly 1?
No, it's like 1.25.
Okay, We'll put 1.2 or 1.3 right around there. It's fine. It's just guessing, okay? And then what about -1? X is -1 here. Where does it look like it's at?
10.
10. So there's 2 of your answers. These are all Desmos. One side in what, like the first one, and then the other side in the second one, and it shows you the intersection. Remember, you just look at that point. So these are all Desmos. All Desmos, this whole page. Do Desmos, the whole page, okay? When you get to the back page, these are kind of bonus questions. They are released EOC questions, so make sure that you check those out. We'll probably go over those tomorrow. Well, we won't go over them tomorrow, maybe Thursday, okay? So 17, finish with 16 and 17, but I definitely want to see your first 2 pages. If you don't get 16 and 17, that's okay. First 2 pages, I definitely want to see. You have to show some kind of work on, or you have to show your answers for 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, all of those. You have to show your answers, not multiple choice. Stop sharing. Stop